you've probably all heard of larking about. That comes from people who would go through the undergrowth, scare the skylarks into the air, and then the merlins were slipped and they were used for hunting them. And the skylarks would ring up, they'd circle up, get higher and higher, and when they were under pressure, they would dive and the merlins would dive after them. Mary Queen of Scots would fly skylarks, merlins and skylarks, and to give you an idea of just how important falconry was, even when she was locked up in jail, her jailer would take her out hunting every day to go and hunt skylarks. And it's been around now, falconry's gone on for about 3,500 years. It's been granted intangible cultural and social heritage from UNESCO, which we hope will give it a degree of protection. Because after all, it's a field sport. The definition of falconry is the chasing and taking of wild quarry in its natural environment with trained birds of prey. Going out hunting.
Here I am with Richard at the edge of the Silverband falconry display area. I've just watched you do a fabulous show with people laughing. Is that something you intend to do, entertain as well as educate?
Yeah, pretty much, and it's fairly easy to get them laughing when the birds fly off and don't behave. So, if people are enjoying themselves, then it's easier to get them to pick up facts and learn things.
You did acknowledge during the show that you have been flying birds longer than you read the book Kes, so it wasn't a book like Kes or a film that put you onto it. You were doing it as a child.
Yeah, it was a primary school teacher. She got me started. Okay. Took me to see Tony Warburton 40 years ago this year, and I watched my first owl show with him. Ended up helping him as a teenager at his centre when they had Muncaster Castle. Okay. They had to leave Muncaster a few years ago, so we now have a lot of those owls at our house, and we're just about to open the World Owl Trust headquarters up at Newton Rig.
The World Owl Trust. Okay. Will that not involve a lot of responsibility and work?
Yeah, probably. Even more than this.
But you're up to it.
Yeah, we work really well together. My wife's here as well, and we'll
so tell me about Silverband. Is Silverband you?
Yeah,
just you.
There's myself and my wife, and we've got two lads who work for us now.
Okay.
And we started it 26 years ago, going into schools and things. We actually did displays down here in 1999, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's not a long time ago.
No.
There's
pictures of me floating around somewhere with really bad hair. And
we all have bad hair.
Really bad glasses.
Yeah, really bad glasses. So yeah, it's carried on from there, and we fly all sorts of birds.
So when you left school, did you go straight into sort of the business of flying, or did you go off and do a degree?
No, I left school and had the chance to go and work at Muncaster Castle.
Okay.
But it was part of a college course, and just I'd had enough of learning.
Yeah.
So I got a job as a butcher. Did that for 5 years, and then saw a job advertised as a falconer, and sort of learnt my trade
with
there.
Somebody else, and then
we went on our own.
Right. So you officially went on your own. What year would that be? You can't remember now, can you?
1998. Yeah.
Wow.
98.
That's a long time. Yeah. So every day of the week is bird related.
It is. Yeah. We're feeding birds, flying them, exercising them.
So do they live at home with you?
Yeah, we've got 30 of our own birds, and then 80 that we're looking after for the World Owl Trust at the moment while we sort out their centre.
Okay.
And
that's quite a prestigious thing, World Owl Trust.
Yeah, well, it was all Tony Warburton.
So how did this come about?
So 51 years ago now, Tony started the British Owl Breeding and Release Scheme, and he was rescuing barn owls, and a couple of people tackled him one summer's evening saying, look, you should really start an association to protect barn owls that were dying out in Britain. And so he started the owl breeding and release scheme, got all the owls located at Muncaster, and set up the owl centre up there.
Yeah.
And it was the first owl centre of its kind. Nobody had ever opened an owl centre before. And of course the way things go, management changes, and they fell out in the end, the castle and the trust, at which point I came back into it, offering to help move owls and things for them, and ended up as a trustee, and I've now taken over from Tony, and I'm carrying his legacy on and running
it's
it.
Going to be the World
Owl
Trust.
The World Owl Trust. They changed the name in 2003,
So I've just had a silly thought. Are owls mostly indigenous to Northern European countries?
No, they live all over the world.
All over the world.
260
you
different
don't think
species.
of owls living in Egypt or in the desert?
No, we've got them there. The
Africa
Pharaoh's
in the
eagle
rain?
owl.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're everywhere.
They are, yeah. The only place they don't live is Antarctica.
Okay.
It's
I wouldn't live
260
there,
different species. No, 260 different species. And there was one just discovered recently, 2006. There was a new one discovered on an island just off the coast of Nigeria. So yeah, a lot of them are jungle birds, but you also get. We're going to fly one later. The great grey owl. They live around the Arctic Circle in the boreal forests. He's just a baby, so he's 14 weeks old. This is his public debut today, so if anything's going to go wrong, he will.
I think I've asked you this question in the past when we've chatted, but do you have a relationship with the birds, or is it very much do as I say? And do you have a relationship with them?
I have a relationship with them, and you
look fondly on them and care for them.
Yeah, I was beaming the other night when the great grey was flying to me in the field. They don't have a relationship with me.
You feel sometimes you get something back that makes you happy.
Yeah. It always makes you smile when they're working well and you've got them flying.
But really, they don't care whether it's you or anybody else.
No. Gonzo, the buzzard that we flew and had him up on the ruins earlier, he'll fly to anybody if
they've got food.
Yeah.
You seem very relaxed when they disappear and don't come back. I mean, you know where they are because you've got them tagged. And
we've got trackers on them. And last year it was a case of getting out an aerial and listening for the beeping noise.
Yeah.
Now we've got GPS, so you literally just open your phone up and go, oh, it's there.
So you seemed quite confident that given time they would come, because we lost one over here.
Yeah, the kestrel flew up and sat on the arches, and then she went over the trees.
You wouldn't come back.
And no, she ended up at the Abbey Hotel.
The crowd gave you a round of applause when the bird flew out the tree onto your arm, and you said, "Why are you applauding? A bird flying up a tree."
Yeah, it's done something completely natural.
The there, they're invested.
Yeah,
so it's a good story.
People are they're really watching it because they want to know that you've lost a bird. We've had a couple of people ask about the bird we lost last year.
Really?
And they want to see it go wrong.
You didn't go home without it though.
No. As soon as everybody left, she came down.
Right. Well, wise.
Yeah.
You're not making me work, she said.
No. But people want to see it go wrong and enjoy it when it happens. But they also want to know that it's had a happy ending.
So what time's your next show?
3:00.
Okay. Do you have a script? Did you just make it up as you go along?
Make it up as go along.
Well, you've got all that knowledge to it's like a good lesson.
Yeah.
A good lesson is off the cuff. The best lessons are sometimes off the cuff.
I suppose so, yeah.
That's not meant to make it sound like you don't practice or know your stuff, but it's just a natural thing that you've done it for so long. It's just natural.
You just fall into that routine, that sort of pattern. So
Well, thank you very much. I think I had a little insight into what Silverband is all about.
Right.
And Muncaster. I knew Muncaster was birds of prey, but you've been involved with that for quite some time. So that's nice to know.
And I say they had to leave a few years ago, but hopefully we can revive it and it can be the force it once was in owl conservation.